Pedro had never visited a real farm before. He thought it would be a quiet and ordinary place. But before the day was over, he would discover amazing animals, hidden places, and unforgettable moments. If you want to improve your English while enjoying an exciting story, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories. Listen carefully, follow Pedro's adventure, and let's begin. Welcome to the farm. Pedro stood at the edge of the quiet, traditional farm. He felt the fresh breeze against his face, watching the long wooden fences stretch across the fields. The smell of clean earth filled the air, rich and natural. He walked toward a grand, bright red barn near the path, feeling the smooth wood warm under the morning sun. Suddenly, a friendly farmer in a vest walked toward him. He held a small wooden bucket and a bright smile, his expression welcoming and full of rustic hospitality. Pedro stopped, looking at the beautiful landscape with wide eyes. He had seen many cities, but never a place so serene, and his curiosity sparked like a flame in his mind. Is this beautiful place really going to be my new adventure? He thought. He adjusted his collar as he looked at the open fields, ready to discover the wonders hidden within the green pastures. Secrets inside the red barn. Pedro sat inside the grand barn, surrounded by golden hay. He pushed the heavy wooden door open with a steady hand, and the soft light filtered through the dusty windows. The shadow faded quickly, turning into a warm amber glow. He saw flights of small sparrows darting around the wooden beams, their wings fluttering like tiny leaves in the gentle draft. Suddenly, a beautiful white owl glided past the high loft. It looked at him with large, calm, and wise eyes before disappearing slowly into the quiet corners of the roof. The rustic world felt alive with history and grace. The rows of old tools below appeared like a massive hidden museum, stretching out across the concrete floor in every direction. This old barn is more fascinating than I ever imagined, he thought. He leaned closer to the stable walls to see the vintage gears, feeling the soft rustle of dry straw beneath his feet. The king of the stable. Pedro guided his steps into a warm, neat horse stable. The structure was tall and filled with clean, sweet alfalfa, housing a magnificent brown stallion resting in the shadows. He saw bright green apples sitting in a wooden box. The horse stepped forward gracefully among the fresh bedding, moving with a rhythm that felt perfectly in harmony. Suddenly, a giant bank of sunlight broke through the door. It illuminated the smooth coat of the animal like a golden cloud, reflecting the morning brilliance back at him. The sight was overwhelming in its size and sheer beauty. He felt like a guest in a private, protected world, watching the quiet dignity of life in the quiet stable. Animals have their own noble language down here, he thought. He extended his hand slowly to offer a piece of sweet fruit, admiring the endless gentle nature of life in this silent space. Feeding the cows. Pedro walked out into the vast open green fields. He watched the heavy clouds moving slowly across the sky, observing a large herd of black and white cows resting together. The deep sound of cowbells echoed through the valley, low and steady. He approached the wooden feeding trough near the main fence, feeling the thick, rough clover in his palms as he gathered it. Suddenly, a massive, gentle cow stepped toward him. She blinked slowly with dark, calm, and peaceful eyes before taking the fresh green grass right from his hands. The open field felt alive with a deep sense of calm. The rolling hills beyond appeared like a giant endless carpet, stretching out toward the mountain range in every direction. This gentle life is so different from the crowded city, he thought. He leaned against the fence to watch them eat peacefully, feeling the warm, steady sun shining down on his back, watching the pigs play. Pedro left behind the green pasture of the cows, following a trail of playful sounds. He reached an area with low, sturdy wooden fences and a large mud puddle, where several big, pink pigs were happily rolling around in the wet earth. The sound of rhythmic grunts and the splashes filled the air, cheerful and lively. He approached the fence carefully, watching the mud splash around, sensing the smell of wet soil and mixed grains. Suddenly, a very curious and clean little piglet came out from a small shed. She trotted over to the fence and stretched her snout toward Pedro with a friendly grunt, her small, bright eyes looking at him with surprising intelligence. The pen felt full of a messy yet happy energy. The shapes of the pigs looked like moving mud sculptures, playing endlessly in their sheltered corner of the farm. These animals really know how to have fun, Pedro thought. With a smile, he leaned over the fence to gently scratch behind the piglet's ears, marveled by the simple, contagious joy of life in the mud. Visiting the duck pond. Pedro followed a small trail toward a beautiful hidden pond. He felt the soft, damp grass beneath his boots, watching the calm blue water ripple against the smooth stones. The sound of rushing water filled the air, clear and pleasant. He walked closer to the edge where the tall reeds grew, feeling the cool water spray against his skin as he stood there. Suddenly, a family of bright yellow ducks swam past him. They moved in perfect unison like a tiny floating cloud, their feathers catching the morning light as they glided by. The water world felt alive with simple beauty and grace. The green plants below appeared like a secret underwater garden, stretching out across the muddy pond floor in every direction. Nature has its own beautiful routines in every corner, he thought. He sat down on a large rock to observe them closely, feeling the peaceful rhythm of the countryside touch his heart. Collecting fresh eggs. Pedro opened the wire door of the noisy, warm henhouse. He smelled the dry grain scattered across the floor, watching dozens of small chickens scratching in the soft dirt. The constant sound of clucking filled the small wooden structure, sharp and busy. He walked carefully toward the rows of wooden nesting boxes, feeling the smooth, round surface of a fresh egg under his touch. Suddenly, a proud, colorful rooster jumped onto a high post. He shook his bright feathers with energy and let out a loud cry, his expression bold as he watched over his busy family. The small house felt alive with constant movement and purpose. The neat rows of nests appeared like a miniature working village, stretching out along the wooden walls in every direction. Every animal has an important job to do here, he thought. He placed the warm eggs gently into his small basket, ready to explore the next secret of this wonderful farm. Among the sheep. Pedro climbed up a steep path toward a high, windy hill. He felt the cool mountain breeze brushing against his clothes, watching a massive flock of white sheep moving across the grass. The soft sound of bleating filled the open air, light and gentle. He walked toward a small lamb resting near a large stone, feeling the thick, soft wool warm under his fingers as he touched it. Suddenly, an old white sheepdog walked slowly toward him. He wagged his tail with a calm and friendly greeting, his sharp eyes looking toward the fields with professional pride. The high pasture felt alive with freedom and natural beauty. The white coats of the animals appeared like moving clouds on the hill, stretching out across the landscape in every direction. This place feels completely safe and far away from trouble, he thought. He stood at the top of the hill to look at the view, ready to see what other treasures the land could offer. Working in the vegetable garden, Pedro walked down to a large, organized vegetable garden. He saw long rows of green plants growing in the dark earth, watching the small leaves dance in the gentle midday heat. The sweet smell of growing herbs filled the air, rich and clean. He knelt down on the soil near a row of tall plants, feeling the rich, dark ground crumble easily between his fingers. Suddenly, a small brown rabbit hopped out from the leaves. It stopped and looked at him with quick, curious eyes before disappearing silently into the thick green bushes ahead. The garden beds felt alive with growth and hidden potential. The long lines of vegetables appeared like a neat green grid, stretching out toward the edge of the property in every direction. The earth provides everything we need if we care for it, he thought. He stood up and wiped the dark soil from his hands, feeling a deep respect for the work done on this land. Driving the tractor. Pedro stopped next to a massive yellow tractor near the tool shed. He looked at the giant rubber wheels covered in dry mud, watching the polished metal parts reflect the bright afternoon sun. The faint smell of engine oil filled the air, sharp and heavy. He placed his hand against the high metal step of the machine, feeling the solid, heavy steel cold under his palm as he looked up. Suddenly, the friendly farmer turned the key in the ignition. The massive engine came to life with a deep, powerful roar, shaking the ground beneath their feet with incredible energy. The mechanical giant felt alive with a strength and modern utility. Its heavy iron frame appeared like a powerful, loyal helper, ready to work the vast fields in every direction. Technology makes this beautiful work much faster and easier, he thought. He climbed up to see the complex dashboard buttons clearly, fascinated by the heavy tools that helped the farm survive. A perfect sunset. Pedro stood by the main wooden gate as the day ended. He watched the bright blue sky turn into a warm orange glow, feeling the cool evening air begin to settle over the farm. The peaceful silence of the night filled the countryside, deep and heavy. He looked back at the grand red barn one last time, feeling the smooth wooden post stable under his leaning hand. Suddenly, a brilliant shooting star crossed the darkening sky above. It left a beautiful streak of silver light over the hills, marking the perfect end to an unforgettable day of discovery. The country world felt complete, resting after a long day of work. The long shadows of the trees appeared like silent, friendly guards, stretching out across the dark pastures in every direction. I will never forget the wonderful lessons I learned here, he thought. He turned toward the path with a heart full of true pride, ready to share the beautiful secrets of the traditional farm. This is the final part of this video. Thank you for staying until the very end, and don't forget to subscribe for the next adventure.